the money system that finally fixed my finances. For years, I thought I was bad with money. I tried everything people online told me to do: budgeting apps, cutting expenses, skipping things I enjoyed, even trying to stay disciplined. And yet, every month ended the same way: stress, confusion, and that quiet panic when I checked my balance. If you've ever felt like no matter how hard you try, your finances never actually improve, this isn't because you're lazy or irresponsible. The truth is, most of us were never taught how money is supposed to work in real life. We're taught to try harder, save more, and be more disciplined. But effort alone doesn't fix a broken system. That's the part no one talks about. What finally changed my finances wasn't a higher income, a perfect budget, or extreme frugality. It was building a simple money system that worked even when motivation didn't. A system that ran quietly in the background, so I didn't have to think about money every single day. Once that system was in place, the stress faded, the guilt disappeared. And for the first time, money stopped feeling like an enemy and started feeling like a tool. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact money system that finally fixed my finances. Not a get-rich-quick trick. It's not complicated spreadsheets, and not advice meant for people with six-figure incomes. This is a system designed for real life, real people, and real mistakes. If you're tired of surviving month to month and ready to feel calm, in control, and confident with your money, this might be the most important video you watch this year. Most money advice fails because it's built for a version of life that doesn't exist. It assumes you're always motivated, always disciplined, and always making perfect decisions. But real life is messy. You're tired after work. You're stressed. You forget you have bad days. And most advice doesn't account for that. Instead, it piles on complexity: spreadsheets, categories, rules, restrictions, until managing money feels like a second job. Eventually, you stop following the plan, and then you blame yourself. But here's the truth most people never hear. Real people fail at money, systems do. A system that only works when you're motivated is not a system. It's a hope. And hope is not a financial strategy. That's why extreme budgeting fails, why just be disciplined doesn't last, why so many people keep restarting from zero every few months. The problem isn't effort, it's structure. What finally works is a system that removes daily decision-making. A system that doesn't ask you to constantly choose the right thing. Automation and structure do what motivation can't. They show up every single time. When money moves automatically, savings, bills, essentials, you're no longer fighting yourself. You're guiding your behavior instead of relying on willpower. That shift alone changes everything. Once you stop trying to control money manually and start designing how it flows, stress drops, mistakes decrease, and consistency becomes possible. This is where real financial progress actually begins. The foundation of this system is simple but powerful. You stop saving what's left and start saving first. When people save last, savings become optional. Whatever money survives rent, food, subscriptions, and impulse spending gets saved, which usually means nothing. That's why saving feels impossible, even for people earning decent money. Paying yourself first flips that order. The moment income hits your account, a small amount is automatically moved to savings before you can touch it. No emotion, no debate, no guilt. Automation removes the friction that usually stops people from saving. And here's the key most people miss. The amount doesn't matter at first. $20 saved automatically, every paycheck beats a perfect plan you never follow. Small amounts build the habit, habits build consistency. Consistency builds confidence. Over time, that confidence replaces the guilt you've been carrying around money. You stop feeling like you're failing every month. Instead, you start seeing progress even if it's slow. And slow is fine. Slow is sustainable. When saving happens automatically, it stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling normal. You don't think about it. You don't miss it. And that's exactly why it works. This single change creates momentum. It tells your brain, I'm someone who saves, instead of, I'll save when things are perfect. And that identity shift is what makes the rest of the system possible. One of the biggest sources of financial anxiety is confusion. When all your money sits in one account, every decision feels risky. You don't know what's safe to spend and what isn't. That uncertainty creates constant low-level stress. The solution isn't complicated budgeting, it's clarity. This system separates money by purpose, not by dozens of categories. One account handles bills and fixed expenses. One handles everyday spending. One holds savings. That's it. When bills are separated, you stop worrying about overdrafts. When spending money is clearly defined, guilt disappears. You're no longer guessing. You know exactly what you can spend without stress. This structure reduces anxiety because your money now has boundaries. You're not restricting yourself, you're giving your money jobs. And when money has jobs, it behaves better. The mistake people make is overcomplicating this step with too many buckets. Complexity kills consistency. This system stays simple on purpose. The goal isn't control, it's calm. When you open your banking app and instantly understand your situation, money stops feeling overwhelming. That clarity alone improves decision-making. You spend less impulsively, not because you're forcing yourself, but because uncertainty is gone. When uncertainty disappears, stress follows it out the door. Most people think controlling spending means saying no to everything. That's why budgeting feels miserable. This system takes a different approach, intentional spending instead of restriction. You're allowed to spend, you just do it within clear limits. Instead of tracking every dollar daily, you do simple weekly check-ins. 5 minutes, no judgment, just awareness. That small habit changes everything. You stop being afraid to look at your money, you stop avoiding it. And when you know your limits, you gain freedom. Freedom to spend without guilt. Freedom to say yes without anxiety. The calm that comes from knowing your boundaries is powerful. You're no longer reacting to money, you're leading it. This removes the emotional roller coaster of overspending and regret. Spending becomes intentional, not impulsive. You're not depriving yourself. You're choosing on purpose. And that choice is what creates emotional calm. When money stops controlling your emotions, life feels lighter. This is where people realize budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about permission. Permission to live within a system that supports you instead of draining you. A buffer changes how you behave with money. An emergency fund isn't about perfection, it's about peace. Even a small buffer, like $1,000, dramatically reduces stress. It stops panic decisions. It breaks the cycle of emergencies, turning into debt. Without a buffer, every unexpected expense feels like a crisis. With one, problems become manageable. That emotional shift is massive. You stop reacting out of fear. You stop using credit as a safety net, and that's where real confidence begins. This buffer isn't built overnight, and that's okay. What matters is progress. Each dollar saved increases your margin. Margin is what makes life resilient. It gives you room to breathe, room to think, room to choose better options. And once that buffer exists, your entire financial behavior improves. You become calmer, more patient, and more intentional. Stability doesn't come from high income, it comes from margin. And margin starts here. Once stability is in place, growth becomes natural. Saving is defensive, it protects you. Investing is offensive, it builds your future. The reason investing feels scary for so many people is because they try to do it without stability. But when your system is strong, investing feels logical, not risky. There's no rush, no pressure. Growth happens step by step. You're no longer chasing quick wins. You're building wealth patiently. Patience is what compounds. This system isn't about getting rich fast. It's about creating a foundation so solid that growth feels inevitable. When money stops being chaotic, it becomes a tool. And that's the moment everything changes, when stability turns into confidence, and confidence turns into freedom. Everything you have heard in this video connects into one simple truth. Money does not improve when you try harder. It improves when the system gets better. Paying yourself first, separating money by purpose, controlling spending without restriction, building a buffer, and eventually growing, none of these work alone. Together they form a system that runs even when life gets busy. And that's the point. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. Small habits, repeated automatically, create control. Control creates calm, and calm turns into confidence. This is how people stop surviving and start feeling steady. Not overnight, not all at once, but quietly, month by month, through a system that respects real life. You were never bad with money. You were just trying to win without a system. And the moment you stop blaming yourself and start designing how your money flows, everything changes. You don't need to fix everything today. Start with one piece, one transfer, one account, one habit. Clarity beats guilt every time. If this felt real to you, hit like. If this helped, comment system. And subscribe for practical money systems that actually work in real life.